Diamond C Fundamental for Success, number 21, appreciate differences. The first step in appreciating differences is knowing yourself. Listen for and pay attention to the things that make you and others different. Everyone has a special and unique perspective, experience, purpose, gifts, and strengths. Leverage your differences for even greater total team success. So, Alex, thanks for joining me for a few minutes to discuss this fundamental, to share some of your perspective and wisdom on it. So I want to jump right into it at just the beginning of the fundamental where it says the first step in appreciating differences is knowing yourself. So what can you tell me about yourself? What are your unique perspectives, experiences, gifts, strengths?
Well, I guess you for this fundamental, you really have to know yourself. And when you ask me that, I kind of like don't even know where to start. And you start questioning, do I even know myself? But when I think about it, I really care about how others feel, about making sure that they feel listened to, that they're cared for. I'm really high on empathy. Right. So when I interact and engage with anybody, whether it's family, friends, or even strangers, I just want to make sure that they feel okay around me and that I come off respectful and as a good person, I guess. So I'm always very aware of that. So I'm just I really care about what others think and the way they see me. So
yeah. I love that. That's a superpower in so many scenarios and situations. And it's also kind of funny to me, answering that question, I almost guessed when I wrote the question, I thought he's going to hesitate, have a hard time answering because everyone does. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Almost everyone does when you ask, well, what are your strengths? And, occasionally you encounter someone that's real proud of themselves and ready to bust out their list of strengths. But for the most part, people don't like to brag on themselves, so to speak, or acknowledge what they're good at. So, but that absolutely, humility and that care and concern, that's absolutely a unique strength and superpower. So how are you different from the team and people that you work with every day? Or how are they different from you?
Well, I think we're all different, and that doesn't necessarily mean some people are better or worse than others. Right. It's just everybody has their own way of being. And I think one thing that I do that I wish more people would do is just really sometimes we don't listen to understand. We just listen to respond, and that's where disconnection and bad communication begins. I guess so. Something that I've learned, especially being in customer service. When you're engaging with somebody, just let that person talk to you and speak and get it all out and really understand where they're coming from and then try to engage in the conversation. So I think that's where I'm different. I try to be a little bit more patient when it comes to engaging with others.
Right.
You know?
Right. So what are some of the key differences you see between your kind of unique gift and perspective in that care and concern for others and some of your teammates who have different kind of gifts and skill sets?
Well, patience, man, it's huge. It's very powerful. When you show patience and care for another person, that conversation tends to always end in good terms. Right. Versus when you're more impulsive, more of impatient, those conversations could go south pretty quick. So being patient and really trying to understand where the other person is coming from, appreciating that difference, instead of judging or not liking or nitpicking on those differences. One, and it's not only my way or no way, right? It's not a one-way street, trying to really comprehend both parties, my side and the other person's side. And I think that's where I'm kind of successful, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I love, I think about a couple of the people that you work with often, and particularly Jessica comes to mind, and being, I haven't worked very closely with her, but extremely detail oriented and on top of her business, so to speak. And I think that's one of those things that when you combine the strengths, you get a better end result, right? Yes. So I want to ask, kind of, you've already touched on and discussed the benefits, so to speak, of appreciating differences, working together, leveraging the team's differences and unique perspectives, experience, listening well to learn and to really understand one another. We've touched on some of that, but so from your experience at Diamond C or otherwise over the course of your career so far, what have you observed happens when we don't appreciate differences?
Oh man, so many missed opportunities. And it's happened to me here at DC. I've worked with some phenomenal coworkers, phenomenal guys guys and girls that are just extraordinary people. And just because one of us didn't take that time, that patience to appreciate those differences, we missed opportunities, and you have to put your pride aside and check your ego at the door. It's not all about me. And I've had to come back and apologize to certain folks, and I hope I'm in good terms with everybody. I think I am for the most part. I've had to, say, hey, you know what? I don't feel right where we left off.
Right.
Tell me a little bit more of what you're seeing. Because what I come and deal with every day at work is only my side, right? My story. I don't know what everybody else puts up with. We all have our different fires and challenges to kind of work through every day. So when you come back and put your pride to the side and try to build that relationship again, I think you have a good outcome. But that's what happens. I mean, so many missed great opportunities, and these are great guys that I've learned so much from. So I was able to regain that trust and good relationship with them, and I'm so happy for that. But because I mean, like I said, just so many missed opportunities.
Yeah, but it can really be a source of division, right?
Yes.
I think we are not going to get political in this conversation, but I'll say we see it in our country and in our culture in so many ways where so much division and hate and just negative, bad stuff comes from not appreciating differences, comes from not appreciating, respecting one another in our unique perspectives, backgrounds, and those things. And the inverse of that, when we do it well, when we listen well, understand one another, appreciate, even if we don't necessarily always agree with, but appreciate one another's differences, that's where the magic happens, right?
Exactly.
That's when we're most successful as a team.
Powerful. Just so many great things. I mean, because like I said, we're all different. So maybe I lack a certain talent, gift, or skill that person just is phenomenal at. So when you're able to appreciate those differences and work together, I'm telling you, some pretty powerful things can happen.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. That was a lesson that I learned, I would say the hard way back, 6 or 8 years ago. So anybody that works closely with me knows that I'm activator number one. That's my number one strength. Activator, let's go, let's get it done. What's next? Not so much the attention to detail, every step, outlining every step, how we're going to accomplish it, what's next, what's the next step. That's not exactly how my brain works most of the time. And several years ago, I went through a strengths training, strengths assessment, and strengths coaching session for the first time. And I think it was 2016 or 17. And it was the first time that I realized that myself and pretty much the next level leaders around me were all activators.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Valentin, who was kind of my right-hand man in R&D and things, we have 4 of the same top 5 strengths. And, we were running the show together back then. And so it was like, well, no wonder there's some dysfunction here. We're not a very well-balanced team.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Where's the balance, right?
Yeah. So we've had to be very intentional since that moment of realization and trying to develop a team that is different in really valuable ways, that thinks differently than the way I think, that works differently than the way I work, so that we can balance one another out and complement one another to get a greater team success, team result.
Yeah, it's a very neat thing. You'll have a group of very, very talented folks, and when you learn to appreciate differences, it's like you're picking out the best and most powerful talents and skills that each person has. And I'm just telling, the things that just come out of that, are just unreal. So
that's right. Okay, well, we will wrap up there. Thank you so much again for sharing some of your perspective. I think you said the word patience multiple times over. And
you got to be patient.
And I think that's it, man. I think that's it. So if you're out there working to fuel the growth and success of your team, customers, community, remember to be patient, listen well, and appreciate differences. That's those differences that could be perceived as negative, could be perceived as frustrating. Those same differences most likely are the ones that can make your team extraordinary, to achieve extraordinary growth and success.